the Shadow Secretary for Housing, Communities and Local Government, James Cleverly, who hopefully is standing by, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, we're all right. It's nice to see you this morning. Can we talk about local elections? Because, I mean, we've been talking about local elections for a long time now, because we are expecting May to be significant politically, and now we're hearing that at least 60 councils are going to be given the option to delay those elections again. What do you make of it?
Well, the Conservatives we've made it clear, and I've made it clear long before this announcement, that we should not be cancelling elections. Elections are the foundation stone of democracy, and we absolutely should not be cancelling elections. What we've seen is the Labour government, both arrogant and naive and cocky, thinking they can completely restructure English local government all in one go, scrapping police and crime commissioners, introducing mayors, getting rid of district councils, merging them with county councils, doing it all in one go. And of course, they've bitten off far too much. And what we now see in the opinion polls is that they are almost certainly going to have a really, really difficult night in those elections. And they've used their ineptitude as an excuse to hide from the voters. And it stinks, and we are completely against it.
So you're going to be instructing your council leaders to allow elections to go ahead, because a number of these areas that we are talking about are Tory controlled. It's Norfolk, it's Suffolk, it's Essex. I mean, it would be in their interest, potentially, to hang on until 2027.
Well, I've spoken to a number of the local government leaders, the Conservative local government leaders, and the message I'm getting back over and over again, including Essex, including a number on the list that you've given, is that they have no intention of cancelling or delaying next year's elections. Now, the message that I've put out, the message that Kemi's put out, and the conversations that I have had and will have with our local government leaders will be consistent. British people deserve the right to choose those who make decisions on their behalf. That is the foundation stone of democracy. That is what we'll be pushing for. And that is the message I'll put out to political leaders of all persuasions. This is Labour running scared. We haven't asked for this. They are the ones that are pushing this, and they're basically trying to shift the blame onto local government leaders for their own arrogance and ineptitude.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Is there any credibility at all to the argument that they make that this is necessary, that this it would be a complete waste of taxpayers' money to hold the elections in May when there's going to be some reshuffling around in the year or two to follow? Does that hold any water at all?
Well, they weren't saying that 2 weeks ago. We since the first announcement of delayed elections earlier this year, we kept asking over and over again, are you going to make sure that the 26 elections go ahead? Are you going to do? And as recently as 2 weeks ago, the message from ministers was, yes, these elections are definitely going ahead. And then suddenly, out of the blue, they say, oh, well, actually, we can cancel these elections. And there is nothing meaningful that's changed over the last 2 weeks, other than the slow realization by number 10 that they are going to have a really, really tough set of elections. And the point is, just because you are going to have a tough set of elections, that is no excuse to cancel them. We went into the last general election knowing that we were going to have a bad night. But that's the nature of democracy. You have to take the rough with the smooth. You have to take the defeats as well as the victories. Labour are undermining one of the most fundamental tenets of democracy, and that is elections.
All right, well, let's be very clear then. If at any point, and I know this is hypothetical, but if any of those councils affected by this that are led by the Conservatives, if they turn round and accept this and decide to postpone, what will you do?
Well, look, I don't know the individual circumstances of these councils. As I say, one of the problems is that the Labour government has been trying to ram through massive changes, pushing costs onto local government. And the reason this is particularly pernicious is because earlier this week, in fact, a couple of days ago, the Labour government announced a complete restructure of local government finances, stripping money away from typically Conservative-held rural councils and giving them to Labour-held urban councils. So they are really putting councils into a vice, squeezing them in both directions. Now, as I say, we want these elections to go ahead. That's what we're saying to all our local government leaders. And if council leaders come to me and say, look, we are really stuffed here because of this combination of events, of course I will listen to that, but our position is clear. We want these elections to go ahead.
What do you make of this plan to give boys as young as 11 misogyny lessons in school as part of the plan to halve violence against women and girls in the next decade? Do you support that plan? Do you think it's the right course of action to tackle this problem?
Well, all children should be taught about appropriate behaviour, and that's just true of boys and girls. It's important to teach kids that bullying is unacceptable, that sexism, racism is unacceptable. We've done that for a long time. I can't help but think that this is driven by one amazing television programme rather than the actual numbers, because the simple truth, as Kemi highlighted, one of the bigger problems that we have is where we have communities that have failed to integrate and where we have teachers and others who fail to take action. I think, for example, of the terrible case of Sarah Sharif, the 10-year-old girl who was tortured to death in Surrey. Her teachers could see that she was coming to school with bruises. She started wearing a hijab. They were too scared to ask her about that because they were worried that it would be taken as racist if they asked her about her injuries. Let's deal with that situation first, rather than building policy around drama. As good as that drama was, that is actually not, statistically speaking, the bigger pool of problems.
OK. Sir James Cleverly, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.